And hello all friends, with you Potato and also
Yuxi, Yubi.
And today, we will show you how to build just the very best iron plant, absolutely endless. We have already arranged it. But now there will be the best version, as compact as possible, as cheap as possible, and as efficient as possible. And not laggy, which is the most important thing, because as you know, we like to believe. So let's quickly consider how to make it.
So, the construction of the plant will be divided into 3 stages. The first stage is creation, the second is extraction, the third is processing. So, to do this, we will need 19 blocks of any, 8 steps of any kind, 2 observers, 1 reversed mechanism, 2 wireless stone signal transmitters, 8 buckets of lava, 2 buckets of water, 1 button, 2 redstones, 1 extender, 1 powered switch lever, and 2 wool sterns. And of course, we will need energy. In our case, we will get it with the help of a creative motor. Next, This is the second stage. We will need 2 shafts, 8 mechanical drills, of course glue, a barrel, a gantry crane chassis, any 1 block, a brass funnel, and of course a wrench, so that it would be easier for us to work actually and turn everything. Then, the third stage is processing. For it, we will need 14 gears, 2 shafts, 2 crushing wheels, 2 fans in the housing, 4 gearboxes, 2 vertical gearboxes, 1 windmill bearing, 8 white sails, 3 blocks of any kind, 1 depot, 1 brass funnel, flint of course, a smart gutter, 1 piece of iron, barrel and buckets of water, and of course a bucket of lava, and of course a wrench, which we actually already have. I hope that you will not lose it during the second stage of creation. Let's go.
So let's take it all faster and start creating the first stage. We take all resources, and at this stage, we will create a cobblestone with you. And this, I will do everything in the image and likeness of this beautiful mechanism from our ghast. Here's what we need for the first stage. So let's say we start building somewhere here. So we put the auxiliary blocks first, namely 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then we begin to install the usual building blocks that you have prepared. We put 1, 2, here an auxiliary block. 1, here we break the block. Here in principle we can also break everything. Then we go in from behind. We put 2 auxiliary blocks here and here, 1, 2, 3 for building blocks. These we can break. Then we continue to put our building blocks. Here we put an auxiliary 1. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 building blocks. We break this one. We go in from this side. Here we put 1 building block. Here also another 1 and 1, 2, 3 building blocks. So far, it turns out such an incomprehensible design, but in fact here, we will have, so to speak, a type of bowl for creating the cobblestone itself. In the future, we will have a lab and water spilled here, and as a result, there will be a very interesting mining mechanism. But for now, let's put observers here. Namely, we need to put them in the following way, so that this observer is the first to look at this block here, and the next observer is the second to look at this observer in this way. Then, we take with you a reversible mechanism, which is installed here in this way vertically, directly on this observer. We immediately put a redstone wireless transmitter on it, and put some kind of cleanliness here. Let's say here are our building blocks. Here, we do the reception, and on the transmission, we put here, and here, we naturally do the same frequency. In front of it, you will need to put a switch lever. Before that we feed the switch lever, we put the extender on 8 ticks. Exactly on 8 ticks, otherwise everything can just break down. And here, we finally put 2 sprouts of dust, and on this side, a button to start the whole mechanism. Then, it remains to install only the 2 gears in this way. So there is no wrong installed here. That's how the creative motor is on top of positive energy. Let's immediately have 256, so that everything works very quickly for us. Now all that remains is to somehow place water, and a lab here. We will put the water in the steps, namely, we will first need to instruct such auxiliary blocks here. We'll break that for now, and we put steps here in this way, so that in the end, they do not form such a small pool. From below, let's break everything right away so that it doesn't get in the way, and pour water from above. That is, we pour it into each block here, and in the end we get how? The fact that if we place lava here, look, we place them here. If so, let's make an auxiliary block, because in the future we will have another block here. In general, it flows like this, and a cobblestone is created here. We can do the same on the other side. Let's pour more lava here, so that it spreads better. We also pour it here, and in this way we create a cobblestone in the amount of 8 blocks, absolutely everywhere. And quite often it will appear here, so it will definitely be more than enough for us. We don't have anything spilling out here, because the transmitter is located here, and here in general, it just blocks Lavi's path. Well, now we move on to the next stage. We take the following items that have already been voiced, and also do not forget the wrench, because here the video will be too heavy, so to speak. And immediately, we break it down here into a store block, and replace it with a brass funnel like this. However, it will need to be twisted a little, namely, so that it looks the other way. However, it does not spin anything, so let's just rearrange it so that it is located here in this way. It is necessary to make it so that it pumps out items from the subsequent barrel, here, which will be located. So let's do it this way here. If I'm not mistaken, now we have pumping. It's not about pumping, so we poke again, and all the items will be pumped out and dropped down here. And in the future, there will be crushers that will create gravel. Then, you will need to install 2 of these shafts of the portal crane, and here you put 2 blocks here, and they are already spinning fast. Now we will need to place mechanical drills here. We need to place them as follows, very rather cunningly, because we first put 1 drill here, namely so that it looks up. Then we take the glue, and here we lubricate it on both sides, and put another mechanical dell here, so that it is glued to this one. Here we lubricate more, then we put more, lubricate more, and so we do, so that they are generally considered to be one structure, but at the same time, with everything so that they do not stick to this cobblestone, otherwise everything will break down, and nothing will be extracted, which will be quite sad. And in principle, here we have done it. Then here we also lubricate with glue, put the chassis of the gantry crane, then here it can also be lubricated with glue. Put purple or any other building block here, and then lubricate with glue and put a barrel here. All the cobblestones will be stored in this barrel. And exactly why are we doing this? In order for the cobblestone not to fly anywhere, so that nothing lags, it will simply be stored here in a barrel, and eventually drop through this funnel, but because the barrel will move up, and the funnel will drop everything from there. In short, everything is very convenient, and made so that nothing lags. That's it in principle. The second stage is completed. The last thing left to do is to process the entire cobblestone of our acquired. To do this, we take the following resources, which have already been announced. Quite a big stage, but really simple. Anyone who knows the mechanics of the crate, I think he will definitely cope. So we go in from the right side of our factory. We put 1 gear here, then a shaft here, then a gear, and here also a gear. So, well, here we attach it here from this side. Then, we put another shaft, and put a vertical gearbox on the bottom, so that it looks in that direction. Then we take the gearboxes that are already horizontal. We put a box here once, then 2 boxes on this side. Then, we take 2 more gears. We put 1 and the second one on top here. So we have everything spinning here, including our own. This is what it's called, I forgot even to be honest, the chassis of a portal crane. And on this gear, you will need to place the first crushing wheel. Right here, we have it spinning in the right direction. Therefore, you did everything right. If not, then you probably just made the wrong direction. But here on top of the motor. Then, we install a shaft on this horizontal gearbox here, another gearbox here, and here we put 1, and also 2 gears on top. We put the second crushing wheel on the same gear. Therefore, what do we get? From here, we will drop a cobblestone that goes immediately above the crushing, and, accordingly, we get gravel. We will have gravel falling for the future, which will be located here as a depot, and everything will already be washed there. Well, then let's install our depot. Let's take it first, and it will have to be located right here, as close as possible to these crushing wheels. And in front here, on this side, we install a brass funnel, which we get that looks right here, and we set it up for flint. We will have flint thrown out as garbage, and by the way, we need to do the same here, so that it is pumped out. It is mandatory that it is pumped out from below. Let's just place lava here, so that the flint is burned and does not load our chests. And especially the server, so that there are not just thousands of this flint here. And then everything will lag. And then, we take a smart gutter, and set it up on a piece of iron. We put the gutter from below, we set it up on a piece of iron, and it will be necessary to install our barrel here. This is exactly where we will receive our final version of the product in the form of pieces of iron. True, you can then put the whole thing under pressure to get ingots, but in principle there is already iron, and it's good. So let it lie here. Well, now we need to do a gravel wash. Here it will be necessary to place as many as 2 fans, so that everything works as quickly as possible. And residents are pestering me for something. I wonder what he wants from me. And now it will be necessary to place water. It turns out that from this side, and also from this side, it is as tight as possible to this depot, so let's use blocks, namely, we put 10 times purple, and also 2 purple here. Here in the future we will pour water. However, before that, you still need to place 1 fan in the case here, so let's do it in this way, so that it looks naturally at this depot. Now, we take the first bucket of water and install it there inside so that we have water in front of the depot, and, accordingly, the fan blew and washed everything. The first fan is installed. Now you need to do the same on the other side. Here, we install one purple. Then we pour water there. So we don't pour out anywhere there, because on one side the gear closes, on the other the shaft, there's a block and there's something else. And now, we are putting a fan in the case here, so that it naturally looks at this water. And why, by the way, does he not look normally? So let's just spin it. That's it. Now we have it aimed directly at the depot. It remains just a little bit. It's just to power up this fan in some way. We will do this with the help of gears, and also, a very, very cool mechanism. Very slow, but in this case, quite effective. We will have white sails and also a windmill bearing. And let's put this whole thing together in some way. Let's say like this: 1, 2 gears, 3 gears, here's another gear, like this, so stop not there. Another gear, here's a gear, and here we'll just install a horizontal gearbox. So they are connected, and now we can place one vertical gearbox here. We are putting a windmill bearing on the bottom of it, namely, let's dig in here, put it here. And now we will need to install sails on this windmill bearing. 8 pieces will be enough, so let's do this specifically here, and put a sail, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and also 8. That's it. We can close this whole thing, and our farm is fully ready for work. However, you will need to press the PCM a couple more times, namely on this bearing. So no, with my bare hand. That's it, 1 time. It works for us. The fans are blowing. By the way, they blow in the right direction, so we did everything right. And now everything remains. It turns out that just click on this button. Click, and see how everything works fine for us. We mine the cobblestone. We also create it here again, and throw the whole thing right on the crushing wheels. He's going to the depot. At the depot, the whole thing is washed out with the help of 2 fans quite quickly. Silicon is thrown away like garbage, and all the iron goes here, in a barrel. Already as many as 3 pieces of iron, in such a short time. For 5 years now, and in short, this is what we have turned out to be: a very, very compact, as efficient as possible, and as non-laggy as possible, which is most importantly, an iron plant. But now we are at the very mouth of the creation of the cobblestone. Here we have various drills that move back and forth, and extract cobblestones, which are not dropped, but folded in a barrel. Here in a barrel, 1 more precisely. Then the whole thing is dropped there, and processed in short.
How much do you rate this mechanism, from 1 to 10?
It seems to me that it is simply impossible to make the mechanism more compact. But there is an option, that we have too much cobblestone being mined. Maybe it's not true. The truth depends on the speed of it. If 256, then maybe everything is fine and shorter. Probably even 10 out of 10. Because, well, it's better not to do anything. I don't see a better option. Here, everything is as efficient as possible, as economical as possible. Very cool and short. Well, there was a potato with you as well.
Yuxi,